Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. We're only a couple of days removed or so from the Games Awards of 2020, and already, just on cue, mainstream games media are turning on its allies, the ones that they voted to win the awards, the ones that they made articles over articles about how diverse and inclusive The Last of Us Part 2 was, the ones that relished the fact that they could vote and they had the power to laud this game with award after award after award, but it ate them up inside that when it came down to the player's choice, the player voted for the Ghost of Tsushima. Drove them mad, drove Neil Druckmann mad. But, of course, mainstream games media is full of filth, and when the votes are over, when the awards have been dished, now it's time for them to come out with what they really think. Of course, this didn't come out before the awards ceremony. No, because there was an agenda to be had. You don't want to be speaking out before the awards. No, you only want to speak out after it's received them. Jeez, man. So this comes from Kotaku, ally of Naughty Dog, ally of The Last of Us Part 2, ally of Neil Druckmann, one of the mainstream media outlets, of course, that didn't in any way report when the Naughty Dog studio with Sony and Musso struck down channels, tried to get them to stop talking about the leaks of The Last of Us Part 2, the terrible story that was released. Where were they then? Nowhere. Just like all of games media. Oh, we don't know what's going on. We haven't seen anything. Pathetic. Doing their good little boy stuff. But now, no. It's time to eat each other alive exactly the way they love to do so. Because now the awards are over, it served its purpose. And now you can go on the offensive. Now you can let your horrible, true nature come out like the hypocrite that you are. Games made under crunch conditions don't deserve Best Direction awards. Slasher on Twitter, a person that leaks out information about the game industry, lied about Dr. Disrespect, saying that he knew why he'd been fired from Twitch, but didn't feel comfortable saying or sharing why. But of course, he was full of shite, full of crap. They get fed crumbs of pussy here or there, which they dispense out there, but really they're just clout chasers. And they themselves on Twitter yesterday said the Games Award have made gamers mad. Job done. They hate the industry, they hate gamers, they're just selfish clout chasers, the lot of them. So they go on to say, last night The Last of Us Part 2 walked away from the Games Awards with 7 trophies, including Game of the Year, Best Narrative, joke, Best Audio Design, Best Performance from Laura Bailey, no offense to Laura Bailey, but you've got to be kidding me, Abby was a plank of wood, Innovation Accessibility, that's the one I'd be absolutely fine with them taking, Best Action Adventure Game, joke. And then they follow up with, arguments can be made as to whether it deserved those or not. Because they know that this game truly was an absolute mess. But because it ticked the boxes, because it was inclusive and diverse, that was their activist game. That was their game that they pretended to ally with, although they didn't care about it whatsoever, because these people are filth. Anything to rattle the gamer, and they'll try and push that narrative. But I think it's pretty obvious that no game that required its developers to crunch, arguments can be made, but I think it's pretty obvious that no game that required its developers to crunch. So they recently had a massive go at Cyberpunk 2077 for the crunch conditions into getting that game out. And that's another video for another time as regards to Cyberpunk. We'll talk about that soon. But when it came to Naughty Dog, yes, there was an expose by Jason Schreier, another clout chaser, selfish clout chaser, who only wanted to use the games industry to advance their career into proper journalism. But of course, everyone defended the game. Every one of them defended the game. But now that it's over, now the awards have been dished, now that it no longer needs to serve a purpose, now we can have a go. Like The Last of Us Part 2 did, should be given a Best Direction award, which The Last of Us Part 2 somehow also won. Somehow, as in, I don't know how this game won it, but it did. I mean, it was clear that Ghost of Tsushima should have cleared up a vast majority of the awards. You could also say Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, even going down very, very well with a lot of people. But The Last of Us, of course, that was the token game. That was the participation award game. According to the Games Awards website, the Best Direction Award is given for outstanding creative vision and innovation in games design, direction and design. This description makes it clear that the responsibility for winning or losing this award rests squarely on the shoulders of the people in charge of leading development, aka Neil Druckmann. So now they turn specifically onto Neil Druckmann, the co-president of Naughty Dog now, who, as they say, is often credited with the game's success. No, he's credited with the game's reception and response, which is one of failure. Normies bought it, normies realised, just like the rest of us, exactly what it was about, and then sales stopped. It's no secret that Naughty Dog subjected its workers to unbelievable levels of crunch to get The Last of Us out the door. Also, they lost so much staff. I think they lost 12 as well out of their 20 or so games developers on the project from Uncharted 4 through to Last of Us Part 2. And then they ended up hiring animators from the actual TV and film industry because they were just losing people hand over fist. People, of course, who weren't truly prepared for what they were supposed to do in the games industry. Over the years, the studio has been a constant employee turnover as developers crunch on games like The Last of Us and Uncharted burn out and throw in the towel, as I've just said. Let's be clear, the existence of crunch indicates a failure in leadership. So now they're calling Neil Druckmann a failure as the leader in this project for The Last of Us Part 2. It's up to the game's directors and producers to ensure workloads are being managed properly and goals are being met. They then go on to say, Hades was up for Best Direction Award last night too. It's a great game, just as good as The Last of Us Part 2 and arguably better in some ways. Where were these articles pre-awards? Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Because, of course, Hades, Ghost of Tsushima didn't have scissoring and didn't have a purse puppy trans character, which was brought in purely to box tick and say, aren't we great? Aren't we so inclusive? Which in itself is bigoted. Because it's not done for the right reasons. It's done for their own ego and satisfaction. Because Cuckers is an egotistical narcissist. And that just shines through. Oh, who's also exceptionally insecure. So now they're turning to Hades as the game that should have won it. Why it didn't win Game of the Year is a subjective discussion I'm not interested in right now, but Hades deserved to win for best direction, at least more so than The Last of Us Part 2. I didn't hear about any crunch at Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima, and look at the quality of that game as well. I'm not trying to take away from Hades, I'm just adding more to the mix, that's all. I'm saying you got Hades, they're saying on one side, nothing about crunch at Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima, which of course was Player's Choice Game of the Year. So you got at least 2 games there. I didn't hear about any crunch with Final Fantasy VII. In actual fact, the remake of that game has been under development for so many years now that it's actually moved from one studio into another because they weren't happy with the work. They wanted the work to be as higher quality as it possibly could be. And if you've seen the previous graphics through to the release graphics, it's phenomenal, the changes that they made. Didn't hear anything about crunch there. But no, we know that The Last of Us Part 2, we know that Naughty Dog and Cuckers put their staff through hell. There's been reports of everything coming out. That's why the game leaked. Because they threatened, because of the way that they do the bonus system, to hold back bonuses because they wanted to release the game later in the year because of the coof. But the upper management apparently took their bonuses immediately. Of course they did. Whereas the hard-working people, they had to wait for the game sales, then the 6-month period, then they could get their bonuses. We all know, there's no denying, they might have killed the story, but we all know that the leaks came from somebody within Naughty Dog. They might have been working with somebody external to Naughty Dog. That's fine. I don't think it's a one-person job, but it absolutely came from a disgruntled employee or employees within the company. Because we heard a lot about employees thinking this story was garbage. But there you go. Then they try to turn it around at the end. I don't hate The Last of Us Part 2. I don't hate Naughty Dog, nor Neil Druckmann, nor anyone else involved in development. Who has the time? Well, that's all you do, mainstream media. That's all you do is hate. Hate on the gamer, turn on the gamer. That's all you've been doing. Leading up to the award ceremony, you've pushed The Last of Us Part 2 as your messiah game. Only afterwards dare you come out because you're a coward. You're all cowards and hypocrites. But I will say that I am disappointed by the Game Awards. Show creator Jeff Keighley, the show's advisory board, and the unnamed journalists and developers whose opinions are heavily weighed in deciding the winners and losers. Great stuff that they put it out the end there. So yeah, games journalism eating itself now because The Last of Us Part 2 has served its purpose. It's received its awards. The awards are over now. The main ones are over. It doesn't matter anymore. They can say exactly what they truly think. The hypocrisy of mainstream games media is rampant. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.